This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to Part 1. Part 1. You will hear a conversation between a customer and a hotel receptionist about booking a room. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Now listen carefully and answer the questions 1 to 6.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Oasis Grand Hotel. How may I assist you today?
Hi. I'd like to book a room for next week. I need something comfortable but not too pricey.
Absolutely. Can I have your name, please?
Yes, it's Michael Bransford.
Thank you, Mr. Bransford. May I have your email address for the booking confirmation?
It's bransforwork@contact.com.
Let me repeat that. BRANSFORDWORK@contact.com.
No, that's incorrect. It's BRANSFORWORK@contact.com.
And your contact number, please?
Sure, it's 1-555-8-927-643.
Great. When will you be checking in?
I was thinking of arriving on July 12th. Oh, actually, no. Wait. Maybe July 13th. Let me check my flight details. Yes, it's July 12th.
No worries. How many nights will you be staying?
Initially, I planned for 4 nights. But now I think I might extend it to 5 nights. No, let's keep it at 4 nights.
Great. Now, what type of room would you like? We have standard, deluxe, and suite rooms available.
I don't want anything too small, but I don't need a suite either. Let's go with the deluxe room.
Excellent choice. Any special requests?
Yes, I'd like a quiet room if possible. Oh, and do you have rooms with a bathtub?
Yes, some of our deluxe rooms have bathtubs. I'll ensure you get one.
Perfect. How do I pay?
You can pay by credit card, bank transfer, or cash.
I was thinking of using my credit card, but actually, does the hotel accept digital wallets like Apple Pay or PayPal? Oh, wait, I just remembered. I left my main credit card at home. Let me check. You know what? I'll just pay in cash instead.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer the questions 6 to 10.
One last thing. Would you like to add anything to your booking? We offer late checkout, extra beds, and balcony views.
I think a balcony view would be nice. Let's add that.
If you opt for the standard upgrade, it's $20, but if you'd like the premium option with extra amenities, it's $60. The $40 option, which most guests choose, includes a balcony with a partial sea view, offering a comfortable balance between cost and view.
Oh, wait. Does the room already have a good view?
The deluxe rooms already have large windows, but a balcony will give you an even better view.
All right, let's keep it then.
Excellent. And just so you know, we offer a free airport shuttle service for all our guests.
That's great. What time is check-in?
Standard check-in is at 2 p.m., but we can arrange early check-in for an additional charge. Some guests prefer to check in as early as 12 p.m. to have extra time to settle in, while others opt for 3 p.m. since their flights arrive later.
No, 2 p.m. is fine. Also, is breakfast included?
Breakfast is available, but it's not included in the room rate. However, we do have a promotion. If you book breakfast for all 4 days now, you get a 15% discount.
That sounds good. What kind of breakfast options do you have?
We have a buffet with continental, American, and local specialties. There are also vegetarian and gluten-free options.
That sounds great. Let's add breakfast to my booking.
Excellent choice. I'll update your total and send you a confirmation email shortly. We look forward to welcoming you, Mr. Bransford.
Thanks so much.
Part 2. You will hear a tour guide giving information about a historical museum to a group of visitors. First, you have to some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Grand History Museum. My name is Rachel, and I'll be your guide today. Before we begin exploring, I'd like to give you some useful information about the museum. The museum first opened in 1856, though some records suggest 1865 due to a historical misprint. It houses over 5,000 artifacts, including ancient tools and medieval armor. Some pieces date back over 700 years, making them among the best preserved in the region. Among our most famous exhibits, we have medieval armor, displayed in the West Wing, featuring intricate craftsmanship. Some visitors assume our rare manuscript, kept in a glass case near the entrance, is among the most significant items, but it is actually a replica. Similarly, the Egyptian statues displayed nearby are modern reproductions, often mistaken for originals due to their detailed craftsmanship. On the other side of the museum, the collection of historical weapons includes spears, swords, and shields from different time periods, drawing significant interest from historians and collectors. Visitors looking to relax often search for outdoor seating, assuming we have a garden or patio, but seating is only available inside the museum. Likewise, some families expect to find a children's play area, though we currently do not have one. However, we do offer interactive activities in certain exhibits to keep younger visitors engaged. For those wondering about visitor facilities, we offer locker storage so you can safely store your belongings while exploring. Additionally, visitors can use our audio guides, which provide detailed information about each exhibit. Some think these guides are included in the admission price, but they must be rented separately at the information desk.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at question 15 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 15 to 20.
One of the most engaging sections in the museum is the area dedicated to ancient civilizations. Rather than simply observing artifacts, visitors can take part in activities that allow them to experience how early societies functioned. Some enjoy trying their hand at traditional crafts, while others find it fascinating to listen to immersive soundscapes that recreate daily life in these communities. There's also a section where you can listen to recorded narrations about the daily lives of people in ancient societies, with expert historians discussing recent discoveries. Visitors often spend time in the Grand Hall of Kings, where they can see various symbolic objects that once belonged to important rulers. Some of these items, like ceremonial robes and ornamental staffs, were thought to be mere replicas, but have since been verified as genuine historical pieces. One of the more dramatic areas is the medieval fortress display, where visitors can watch demonstrations of how battles were fought centuries ago. Actors dressed in period costumes engage in mock combat, giving an authentic feel of medieval warfare. Some mistakenly believe this section only focuses on armor and weaponry, but it also highlights the daily struggles of medieval soldiers. For those interested in technological progress, the Hall of Innovations offers a look at some of history's greatest breakthroughs, Using interactive screens and digital projections, visitors can explore the evolution of various inventions. Some assume this section is limited to modern technology, but it also covers ancient engineering feats. Anyone fascinated by oceanic adventures can join a guided walk through the Maritime Exploration Wing. Here, experts share intriguing stories about explorers who mapped unknown waters. Some visitors come expecting only static exhibits, but they are surprised to find knowledgeable guides bringing history to life with engaging storytelling. The Cultural Heritage Room is a diverse space where visitors can see items that have been carefully curated from private collections. Many of these objects were generously contributed by individuals who have spent years gathering historical artifacts. Some guests assume these displays are museum-owned, not realizing the personal history behind each piece. Lastly, please remember that while photography is allowed in most areas, we kindly ask visitors to avoid touching the exhibits to help preserve them for future generations. That's all for now. I hope you enjoy your visit, and I'll be happy to answer any questions before we begin our tour.
This is the end of Part 2. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers to Part 2. Part 3, you will hear a discussion between two university students, Emma and Liam, about their upcoming research project. First, you have some time to look at question 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
Hi, Liam. We really need to finalize our research project schedule. We only have 5 weeks, so we need to plan everything carefully. Have you thought about what we should start with?
Absolutely, Emma. Before diving into any data collection, it's crucial that we get a clear picture of what's already been explored. That means spending the first week on background research. What do you think?
That sounds reasonable. We need to get a comprehensive understanding of previous studies before we move forward. Looking at existing research could help shape our approach. But if we depend too much on past conclusions, we might miss new perspectives.
I agree, but we shouldn't spend too much time analyzing others' work. By the second week, we should have our list of survey questions prepared. Do you think we should run a small trial first, or just distribute it widely and refine as needed?
Good question. Maybe we should trial it with a small group first, just a handful of students to make sure everything is clear. Also, what's the best question format? Open-ended ones could provide deeper insights, but multiple choice might be easier to analyze.
A balance would be best. Some structured questions for comparison and a few open-ended ones for detail. Once that's sorted, we need to focus on getting people to engage with our study. If we don't get enough participants, we might have to rethink how we distribute it. Would a small reward encourage more responses?
That's a concern. We might need to distribute the survey through multiple channels, emails, social media, even in-person approaches. Extending collection time is an option, but it could delay the project.
If necessary, we could reach out to student groups to encourage participation. By week 4, we'll need a method for gathering deeper insights. We could conduct interviews, but another option is running a focus group discussion. Should we go ahead and prepare questions for both?
I think interviews would be more effective than a focus group. It allows us to get more detailed personal perspectives. If we go with that, should we transcribe them as we go or wait until we have all the responses?
You're right. Interviews might give us clearer individual insights. A mix works best. Some guiding questions to stay on track, but also space for open discussion. Also, we should allow time for follow-ups in case we need clarification.
Right. Finally, in week 5, we need to make sense of everything we've gathered. Should we spend time refining our draft first, or go straight into processing the data?
I was thinking we should revise the draft first, checking for gaps or inconsistencies before analyzing anything. But then again, if we dive into the numbers first, we might realize what actually needs adjusting. What do you think?
I see your point, but if we don't analyze the data first, we won't know what's missing. Let's go ahead with that, then make necessary revisions afterward.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
We need a clear framework before diving in. First, we must determine a topic thoroughly, considering various aspects and possible angles that aligns with our research goals. Since we're looking at consumer behavior, should we refine our scope to something more specific?
Perhaps we should explore different angles like online purchasing habits. Should we compare spontaneous buying decisions with carefully planned ones? Or maybe focus on how various age groups approach shopping?
That sounds reasonable. The next step is to decide on our systematic procedure for conducting research, ensuring proper data evaluation and logical assessment method. Would it be best to use multiple techniques, or should we stick to just one for clarity? What about location-based variations? Should we compare responses from urban and rural participants to see if shopping habits differ?
That's a smart approach. If we don't carefully balance our sample, our conclusions might not be valid.
After collecting everything, we'll need to break it down and examine the results carefully. But what if we find patterns that don't match what previous studies have suggested?
That could make our research even more valuable. If we uncover unexpected patterns, we should analyze why they exist. Maybe it could even spark ideas for future studies.
Right, and we should make sure our conclusions are based on solid evidence rather than assumptions. Should we include visual elements in our report?
Absolutely. Using charts and graphs will make our findings easier to interpret. We could also include an appendix with the raw data so the main report remains concise.
Good plan. We should also proofread carefully before submission. Any last steps?
Maybe get our professor's feedback before submitting? Also, should we prepare a short presentation?
That's smart. Let's include that in our plan. Time to get started.
That's the end of part 3. You now have 30 seconds to check your answers. Part 4. You will hear a university lecturer giving a talk on climate change and its impact on coastal cities. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we will be discussing the impact of climate change on coastal cities, a growing concern for scientists and urban planners worldwide. Over the past century, global temperatures have increased by approximately 1.2 degrees Celsius. This warming trend is directly linked to rising sea levels, which occur primarily due to the melting of glaciers and ice caps. As a result, coastal cities face significant threats, including flooding and intense storms that contribute to severe coastal erosion. Some regions have already experienced these effects, with coastal highways and entire neighborhoods being swallowed by rising waters. The unpredictability of these events makes urban planning increasingly challenging, as solutions that were once effective are now being rendered inadequate. By the year 2050, experts suggest that certain highly populated areas may find themselves dealing with flooding as often as 4 weeks apart, though in some cases, severe weather patterns could make it even more frequent. This shift is driven by the growing unpredictability and intensification of extreme climate events. The risk is particularly severe for small islands and low-lying urban areas, where even minor changes in sea level can have devastating effects. Some communities are already seeing saltwater intrusion into freshwater supplies, making daily life more difficult. This not only affects drinking water but also agriculture as crops fail due to soil salinization. Furthermore, the economic burden placed on these communities to continually adapt is unsustainable. To mitigate these risks, scientists and engineers propose constructing seawalls, which can help reduce the impact of incoming tides and storm surges. However, not all cities have the financial resources to invest in such large-scale infrastructure projects. Some governments have turned to temporary solutions, such as sandbagging, but these methods are not sustainable in the long term. Another natural defense is coastal vegetation, particularly mangroves, which play a crucial role in preventing erosion and providing a natural barrier against waves. Unfortunately, many mangrove forests are being cleared for urban expansion, leaving coastal regions more exposed to environmental changes. Ironically, efforts to develop these areas often accelerate the very problems they are trying to solve. Another consequence of rising temperatures is the increased intensity of storms, which are becoming more frequent and destructive. These storms, often categorized as hurricane events, thrive on warmer ocean temperatures, which provide more energy for storms, leading to heavier rainfall and stronger winds. In 2021 alone, several coastal cities were devastated by record-breaking storms, leaving thousands displaced and billions of dollars in damages. There is also growing concern that certain regions, previously unaffected by hurricanes, may soon be at risk. Some experts argue that the term once-in-a-century storm is no longer valid, as these extreme weather events are happening far more frequently. Urban planners are now emphasizing the importance of designing effective water management strategies in coastal developments to manage excess water and prevent long-term damage. This includes upgrading stormwater infrastructure, implementing better flood management policies, and even redesigning city layouts to adapt to new environmental realities. Some cities are considering artificial wetlands to absorb excess rainwater, while others are investing in underground reservoirs to help regulate water levels. However, even the best drainage systems cannot function effectively if not properly maintained. Poor urban planning and blocked drainage systems have already led to unnecessary flooding in some areas. It is not just about constructing new drainage systems, but ensuring that existing ones remain functional. Maintenance negligence has exacerbated problems in cities that once had reliable water management infrastructure. Additionally, coastal erosion and infrastructure damage affect tourism, which is a major economic driver for many seaside communities. As shorelines retreat, resorts and beaches disappear, leading to financial losses and job cuts. Industries that depend on marine ecosystems, such as fishing, also face disruptions. As ocean temperatures rise, fish populations migrate to cooler waters, affecting food security and economies worldwide. It is not simply a case of replacing lost income with alternative industries, as entire communities rely on marine-based work. The economic impact, therefore, extends beyond just local businesses and into global markets. Reducing carbon emissions is the most effective way to combat climate change. Transitioning to renewable energy, enforcing regulations, and promoting sustainable transport are key solutions. While some nations impose carbon taxes, industries resist due to cost concerns. However, without reducing carbon emissions, adaptation strategies will only offer temporary relief. All in all, climate change is an urgent threat to coastal cities. Without action, the consequences will worsen, causing displacement, economic losses, and ecosystem damage. While adaptation strategies help, they offer only temporary relief without addressing root causes. Cooperation among governments, businesses, and individuals is crucial. The key question remains: will we act now or wait until irreversible damage occurs? Thank you for your attention.
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.